Hello everyone, Bishi here, and welcome back to Changeling. We're going to get right into it. We're on chapter 2. I think this is the last chapter of the demo, so here we go. Chapter 2, the first day. I don't see them anywhere. They were on the counter last night. Where are they? How the heck should I know? You never let me drive, so I don't keep up with the car keys. You two are going to be late for your first day if you don't find them soon. Not my fault. Spencer was scouring the house looking for the car keys that he insisted he left on the counter. I was rinsing the breakfast dishes and Mom was supervising. Spencer let out an exasperated groan from near the door where he was hunting around for the keys. Where's my other shoe? Oh my God, I don't know. I don't keep up with your stuff. I finished the dishes and wiped my hands, grabbing my book bag as I headed to the front door to see if Spencer had left the keys there instead. If I'm late because of you, we won't be late if you just help me find the keys. I wouldn't have to help you find them if you just keep up with your stuff. I stalked to the front to check the little shelf by the cabinet there. No keys. I don't know why I opened the cabinet to check inside, but when I pulled the door open, I was confronted by Spencer's worn-out tennis shoe. I blinked at it in surprise. What the... I snatched it out of the cabinet and stalked back to the kitchen. I could only imagine that my sleep-deprived mom had to put it in there while doing the last of the unpacking. I wondered if Spencer had checked the fridge for the keys yet. At this rate, it wouldn't surprise me if that's where they were. I found your stupid shoe. Spencer looked up from where he was rummaging through the kitchen drawers for the keys. I tossed him the shoe, and as it somersaulted through the air to him, something flew out of it and hit the floor with a decidedly metallic sound. We both looked down in surprise. The car keys were sprawled carelessly on the kitchen floor. What were they doing in his shoe? Spencer immediately glared at me. Don't look at me. I didn't put them in there. Where did you find this? In the cabinet by the front door. I could tell exactly what he was thinking, but I just shrugged. Sorry, it wasn't me. I don't know why your shoe was in there, but I'm not in the mood to hear you blame me for it. He just scoffed as he set the shoe down and shoved his foot in it. He snatched the keys off the floor. Yeah, right. Mom hurried back into the kitchen. We found them. Someone put them in the front cabinet. I know. Don't ask me. Maybe Dad did it. Whatever. Someone probably just wasn't paying attention. You two need to leave now. You still have to stop and check in at the office. She practically shoved us both through the door. And thus came the quiet, uncomfortable drive to school. Yay. Spencer was driving our shared car, and I was sitting quietly in the passenger seat because, well, fighting over who got to drive just wasn't worth it. I hated riding with him, though, but had no choice on that point. I was hoping that after catching up with a couple of old friends, I might be able to start bumming a ride with one of them. In the meantime, though. So, looking forward to your first day? We might not get along, but I hated awkward silences almost as much as fighting. It should not have been this painful to ride in the car with my brother for 10 minutes. Oh yes, typical Spencer response. Curt, cryptic, utterly useless for conversation. I take that as a no. Depends how many classes I have with you. Really? Can we not start the day like this? Then can you not talk to me? Oh my God, Spencer. That's cold. That's your sister. I'm sorry, but I'm just like, whoa, this guy's really mean to her. He really doesn't like her. I bit my lip and stared out the window. It would have been nice if we could have, I don't know, supported each other or something. Like actual siblings. Try again, girl. Try again. I know you're still angry at me. He didn't say anything. But if we could just talk about it. We can't talk about it. I winced as he started yelling. Ugh, this was a bad plan. If you try to act so innocent when Mom and Dad are around. Oh, sorry. You try to act so innocent when Mom and Dad are around. You try to go on as if nothing happened because you've forgotten. Some of us just can't forget. I never said I forgot. I said I don't remember. I took a deep breath and leveled a serious look at him. If I recall, you told everyone you couldn't remember either. He didn't look at me. I was sitting on the side with his bad eye, so he didn't even bother. What was I supposed to tell them? No one believed me when I told them the truth. What truth? All I remember you telling people was... I snapped my mouth shut and stared out the window. He told them that I was some kind of monster. Who in their right mind would believe that anyway? Don't try to act like you don't remember what really happened. I know better. I stared out the window and said nothing else. I had no idea what I was supposed to remember. Turning into a monster? Magically stealing his vision? It had been years since he'd last said something that out of touch with reality. Was I supposed to believe he actually still thought something like that was true? I didn't even know what to say to that. I chewed my lip anxiously, regretting talking to him. A few minutes later, we were pulling into the school parking lot. As soon as we parked, Spencer jumped out and went straight inside. I grabbed my stuff and slammed the door, determined to not let him ruin my entire day. By the time I got inside, he was already walking out of the office with his schedule in hand. He didn't even look at me. It didn't take long to get my own schedule printed. As I left the office, I heard a long, familiar squeal heading my way. I couldn't keep the grin off my face when I saw Allie Fisher, the one person I'd kept in touch with the last 5 years, barreling toward me. Bishi! I just saw Spencer! Dang, he turned out nice! Ew, that's the first thing you're going to say to me when we finally see each other again? Oh, come on, he's not my brother. I'm allowed to look. She grinned and grabbed my arm, pulling me away from the office and down the hall. You're gross. Nope, no, like I said, I'm allowed. In fact, I'm thinking later today I need to catch up with Spencer a bit. She waggled her eyebrows suggestively. I say again, ew. She just laughed at my discomfort. I couldn't keep the smile off my face. We'd kept in touch, but this was my first time actually seeing her in a long while. So, how's the unpacking going? I was going to call this weekend, but I figured you'd be busy. We're nearly done. Mom's been a total slave driver. It's kind of scary. I remember how she is. I actually thought about coming over to help, but, well, then I remembered how she is. You're the worst friend. No, I'm a great friend. I'm super glad you're back. This is going to be a great year. I'm glad to be back, too. Now, I do have to warn you about... I heard you were back in town. That voice. I shot Allie a look, and she gave me an apologetic smile in return. I assumed she had been intending to warn me about this. Kara. Hope you managed to stick around for the full year. Wouldn't want you to end up getting lost again as soon as you get back into town. So I'm guessing Kara's not their friend. Ooh, how do I want to handle this? I would come back snarkily. Yeah, let's come back snarkily. Oh, I don't intend to get lost anywhere. If you want to, though, I can definitely give you directions. From beside me, Allie snickered quietly, but said nothing. I really couldn't believe Kara was still bitter over the incident. I got that my last disappearance had disrupted her little concert, and that her mother had always had big aspirations regarding her musical career. But it's not like I'd ruined things on purpose. And I hadn't exactly asked everyone to ditch the concert and join the manhunt for me. I'm sure it did kind of suck, though, but I had apologized. and I was getting tired of apologizing for something I couldn't even fully remember. Anyway, they're pretty strict on attendance these days. The teachers aren't too keen on people who just take off for attention whenever they want, so you might want to be careful. No one is going to believe convenient amnesia either. Not this time. She walked past, not even bothering to attempt a fake smile. She just glared. I rolled my eyes. Good grief. What a thing to come back to. Sorry about that. I was just getting around to warning you about her. Allie pulled me down the hall in the opposite direction of Kara. I can't believe she's still mad at me. I can't believe she's mad at all. Normal people don't get mad about things like that. You know, she thinks I was trying to mess things up for her intentionally because I was jealous. Half the town thought it was just some cry for attention, remember? Oh, whatever. They just wanted a scapegoat. And that's when Spencer started hating me too. So maybe they know something I don't. I gave her a tired smile. Come on, perk up. You can't look all grumpy on your first day. I know. So, and what's your first class? Literature, Mrs. Roberts. Same. I was relieved. Being around someone who actually wanted me there might make my morning suck a little less. You'll love her. Come on. She dragged me the rest of the way to the class. I immediately scanned for certain unfriendly faces, but was relieved that neither Spencer nor Kara was anywhere to be seen. I did see some other familiar faces, though. Oh, it's Danny and Elliot. They were sitting on the far side of the room, surrounded by a group of friends who seemed to be taking great pleasure in prodding Elliot awake when he nodded off. I guess he was serious about not being a morning person. Elliot's purple hair and black clothes stuck out like a sore thumb among Danny and the rest of his clean-cut, sporty guys. I got the feeling Danny was the main reason he was in that group. Unlike Elliot, who looked out of place, Danny fit in perfectly. I couldn't help but wonder how those two had become friends. They were so different. Oh, I get the choice? I don't know, I like Elliot. Elliot seems like my type of guy. Danny, though, seems really considerate and nice. You know, not trying to fake it. He seems like one of those nice type of jock guys. But like, not stereotypical, because you'd figure like stereotypical jocks. He's rude and egotistical. Let's try to talk to... Well, Elliot's falling asleep, though. Now let's go with Elliot. Elliot was definitely struggling to stay awake. His head tipped forward and he suddenly jerked it back, sitting up straighter. The rest of the group laughed and prodded him. He said something back at them and looked around as he let out another tongue-curling yawn. Amused, I managed to catch his eye and gave him a tiny wave from the doorway. His face brightened significantly. The sleepiness suddenly vanished and he waved back enthusiastically. Oh, it's so cute! It definitely gave me a bit of a boost to have someone other than Allie look pleased to see me. Elliot waved me over to their group, but I had barely taken one step before Allie started pulling me toward the front of the room. Come on, I'll introduce you really fast. Having been commandeered, I shot Elliot an apologetic smile. He waved again and looked a little forlorn as I was taken away to talk to Miss Roberts. I mouthed sorry to him, and hoped we'd be able to catch up later. Allie introduced me to Mrs. Roberts, who gave me a quick rundown what this class was studying at the moment. A Midsummer Night's Dream. I'd read it last year, actually, so catching up wouldn't be that difficult. We have an empty seat at the front of the class and several at the back. You may take your pick. She shot me a friendly smile that made me feel quite at ease. I suspected that I'd like her. And welcome back to Stone Circle, Miss Lewis. Thanks. I'm really glad to be back. Unfortunately, none of the seating options were near people I knew, which was a little disappointing. It looks like she has everyone paired up for group work. The seat up at the front was next to a sort of stuck-up-looking, well-dressed blonde. He didn't look extremely friendly. And there were also 2 empty seats, a paired desk at the back, and one open seat next to a gloomy boy with messy brown hair. He didn't even look up as Miss Roberts explained my choices. I should probably take a seat that at least gives me a reading partner. But both options just look so much fun. Let me read that. But both options just look like so much fun. There you go. Nailed it. So much fun. Okay, so the brown-haired guy's in the back, huh? And the blonde-haired guy's in the front. Oh, man. Let's see why the brown-haired guy's gloomy. I felt uncomfortable at the idea of sitting next. Oh, it's the blonde. He's in the back. Oh my god. Oh wait, no, he's not. I felt uncomfortable at the idea of sitting next to the blonde. He didn't look especially friendly and was kind of radiating vibes that screamed, "Don't sit here." I decided to follow my intuition on that one. So I shuffled past him and headed to the back. Literature was my favorite subject, so it shouldn't matter if I sat in the front or not anyway. I slid into the desk next to the brown-haired boy, wondering why every desk around him was empty. He looked up with surprise when I sat down. I shivered slightly as I sat my backpack down. That's weird. Is there a giraffe back here? I glanced up at the ceiling, but there was no vent overhead. It was definitely really cold, though. It wasn't just my imagination, because the brown-haired boy was still wearing a jacket and scarf. I'd probably have to remember to bring an extra layer tomorrow, too. Just my luck. I caught the boy's eye and shot him a smile. It's kind of cold back here, huh? Gentle brown eyes gazed at me from under his long fringe. He looked away quickly, chewing his lower lip. You shouldn't have chosen that seat. He mumbled something, but it was too quiet for me to hear. I didn't get a chance to ask him to repeat it because the teacher started to talk again. Today we'll be continuing our reading of A Midsummer's Night Dream with our partners. William, if you would be so good as to share your book with Bishi for today. His head shot up, and he stared at me with an expression that looked vaguely like horror. I smiled awkwardly. Was he just really shy? Sorry to be a bother. It's not a bother. He was still muttering, so I could barely hear him. I leaned closer to him as he pushed the book toward the center of our desks. I caught him steal another look at me, so I smiled again. He looked away quickly, but it was hard not to notice how his ears went red. Aww. Definitely shy. That was a relief. Shyness I could handle. I studied this play last year, so I'm already familiar with it. I've also read it before. Oh, good. So this should be pretty easy. He chewed his lip before looking at me seriously. You should ask if you can move up front tomorrow. Most people don't like sitting by me. Wait, is he mad I sat here? No, I didn't think that was it. He didn't look angry, just sort of miserable. He definitely struck me as the awkward sort, but that didn't explain the other empty chairs around him. Surely people wouldn't refuse to sit by him just because he was a little shy, right? I don't think I'll mind sitting here. I lowered my voice to a whisper. The guy up front looks sort of cranky. William's lips twitched slightly, but he didn't quite smile. I don't mind if you stay, but if you ever want to move, I'll understand. It's fine, really. Don't worry about that. Anyway, where did you leave off reading? Why is he so convinced I'll want to move? Is he being bullied? That didn't seem right either. Not with Danny and Elliot and Allie in a class with him. Danny and Elliot didn't seem the types to bully someone or put up with others doing it, and I knew Allie wasn't. Weird. I was nearly to the start of Act 4? I think that's 4. Oh no. Oh. Okay, great. We'll just start there then. Great. I just got tested on my Roman numerals. We spent the next 45 minutes taking turns reading. I was really surprised at how confident he was once we got to work. His voice was so quiet that, at times, I had to lean closer just to hear him, but he read without stumbling over the sometimes complex dialogue. I expected him to be more hesitant, but it seemed like it was just conversation he wasn't great at. Anyway, it was nice to have a decent reading partner considering how a lot of people made a big fuss about hating Shakespeare. I quickly found myself feeling quite pleased with my seating choice. He seemed to relax as time passed as well. Eventually, the bell rang, and the rest of the class immediately packed away and vacated. You're good at this. Thank you. I actually have a big soft spot for Shakespeare. Pretty much everyone I know thinks it's weird. It's not weird. I mean, I don't think it's weird anyway. I also like Shakespeare. Good. It's more fun to sit by someone who also likes it. I'll see you later. Sure. See you. Our eyes met again, and he gave me the sweetest smile before heading out the door. No matter what he said, I didn't think I would regret sitting by him at all. Anyone who likes Shakespeare couldn't be that bad, at the very least. Allie was over in one corner surrounded by people I didn't know, so I decided just to head to my next class and catch her later. I was pretty sure trigonometry was on the same floor as literature, but it had been several years since I was last here, and I'd never actually come to the high school wing. I wasn't entirely sure where I wasn't entirely sure where I was going. Why is it so crowded? I was jostled across the hall by the crowd, trying to aim for a nearly empty spot by an open door. I reached it at the same time as a pale-haired girl in a blue coat. We nearly ran into each other, but she caught me by the shoulders, preventing an embarrassing collision. Careful. Wait, that voice. That's a guy? I stared at him somewhat in awe. He was so pretty. How could a guy be that pretty? He smiled down at me. Are you okay? Didn't mean to nearly crash into you. Oh, yes. Sorry. I'm okay. I quickly straightened and tried to get my bearings. I don't remember it being this. Watch it! Someone very nearly sheared my nose off with his backpack. I don't think they even heard me shout. Is it always this crowded between classes? Jeez. Hey, can I ask you where? Wish me luck. Before I could finish, the boy bounded away from the wall and, oh no. I squeezed my eyes shut as he nearly bowled over two brunettes twice his size. I expected him to bounce off and go sprawling, but he somehow managed to dodge and bowl over someone smaller than him instead. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? I watched him fuss over the girl for a few seconds before hurrying off down the hall, squeezing his way through the crowd. He seemed pretty popular. Everyone waved and called to him as he bounced through. It didn't take long to learn that his name was Corvin, only because people kept shouting it as they said hello. Weird name. As I got ready to brave the tide of students myself, I noticed a book had fallen in the middle of the hallway, right where Corvin had run into that girl. Oh shoot. Did he drop that? No one else appeared to have noticed it there. I hesitated for a moment. I didn't want to just leave it, but I was really doubtful of my ability to get across the hall and pick something off the floor without getting steamrolled by the crowd. And I was going to be late if I waited until the hall cleared to get it. Still, it was going to get damaged if I just left it in the middle of the floor. I should probably either return it to Corvin or get it to the office. Well, should we be late, or should we dive into the sea of students? So far it seems like we've been picking the top choices. Let's be daring. Let's do it. Someone clicked clipped the edge of the book with their foot as they walked past, sending it sliding across the carpet to a corner at the end of the lockers. I couldn't watch anymore. At this rate, it would be ruined. I shifted my backpack slightly and practically threw myself into the crowd. If Pretty Boy could do it, so could I. Probably. It wasn't quite as easy as he made it seem. Probably because he was at least 6 inches taller than me. He's that tall. How tall are you? Crowded hallways were not easy navigation for short people. I jostled my way through the hurrying students and book bags, nearly losing an eye at least once. When I was finally near the other side of the hall, I made a sort of dive for the safety of the corner. A head of white blonde hair came into my field of view a few seconds too late. I wasn't able to halt my momentum before our skulls cracked against each other. Ugh. Ah. I crouched on the floor, seeing stars as I clutched my head. Pretty Boy was back, and his head must have been made of titanium. Jeez. Maybe I need to start wearing a helmet. Ow. Oh my god, are you okay? Are you okay? I didn't see you. Wow, he was 2 for 2 at this point when it came to running into me. I was kind of waiting for my vision to come back fully before I answered, but I felt someone's hands close on my shoulders and start shaking me. Are you alright? Do I need to get you to the office? Please stop shaking me. Oh, sorry. You just weren't answering. I rubbed my forehead and peered at the blonde boy with one eye. We stared at each other for a long time. He had the most amazing green eyes. Shoot. I dropped my glasses. He started looking around wildly for the glasses that were right by his knee. I picked them up and handed them over. He shoved them onto his face and looked at me again, smiling this time. I think you dropped a book earlier. I was trying to get it so I could return it to you. Oh yeah, I just came back for it and... He blinked as if suddenly surprised by it. When did you see me drop it? Did that even matter? Earlier, when you ran into that girl. Right. It was kind of crowded. You must have a good eye. Well, I was watching since we'd nearly run into each other and you sort of Geronimo'd out into the crowd right after. Oh yeah, we nearly ran into each other over there too. I guess our meeting was meant to be. Thanks for trying to save my book. That was sweet. He shoved it into his backpack before standing and offering me his hand. I took it and pulled myself to my feet, if only because I was still a bit dizzy from the epic headbutt. Thanks. He didn't immediately let go of my hand, but instead pulled me slightly closer, peering very seriously into my eyes. Whoa. I felt my face heating up again under his scrutiny. What's your name? I'm Bishi. I tried to pull my hand away and he instantly released it, smiling slightly. He reached up and gently brushed my hair away from my cheek. He chuckled softly. Well, I'm glad to have met you, Bishi. Before he could say much else, he was called away by another boy and darted off, leaving me staring after him. Whoa, just what was that? Holding hands with someone on the first day? I'm impressed. I shook myself out of the daze and glared at Allie. We weren't holding hands. He was helping me stand. Right. Oh, whoa, what happened to your head? Oh, that guy? I think his name's Corvin. And I sort of ran into each other. Nice. Yeah, if you're going to find a crazy way to introduce yourself to a guy, going with something classic works. Yeah, I did not bash my head into him just to meet him. Right. But he's pretty cute, yeah? I rolled my eyes. Whatever. Can you show me where Trig is before we're both late? Ugh, you still suck with directions. Come on. My next 2 classes were fairly boring, at least when it came to academic content. When it came to social interaction, though, it was a different story. First of all, Corvin was in trigonometry. Sorry, I'm like, trigonometry. I hate math. I was definitely right about him being the popular type, even though he seemed kind of ditzy. He was surrounded by others the entire time. The crowd around Danny in literature was nothing compared to the amount of people vying for Corbin's attention. It was really weird. On top of that, he was a complete and total klutz. He dropped his pencil a dozen times, tripped over his own feet, and at one point somehow landed on another student's desk, face first. He would normally have been little more than a source of entertainment for everyone. But to my surprise, no one laughed at him. In fact, people sort of fawned over him in a really odd way. 3 different students offered to escort him to the nurse for an ice pack after he fell. He was kind of an airhead, and I guess he must have been really, really nice to have that many friends. He was fun to watch, but I was glad he was sitting on the other side of the classroom from me. 1 headbutt was enough for me. At any rate, in addition to that, Spencer was in trig and chemistry. I couldn't help but wonder how having 2 classes with me must have impacted how good a day he was having. Apart from a brief explanation of how we were related, he and I completely ignored each other. To my great joy, Kara was also in chemistry with us. That's when things started to get annoying. Spencer and I were subjected to an uncomfortable barrage of questions about the whole childhood disappearing act, despite that I hadn't brought it up, and I was certain he hadn't either. Some students were people we'd gone to middle school with, so I suppose they could have remembered about it, but most of the ones badgering us were people I didn't even know. The sheer amount of interest was also weird. In chemistry, 2 people who introduced themselves as Luke and Bethany practically set up camp near my desk to pepper me with questions. They had clearly gotten a pretty detailed version of what had happened. "Do you really not remember what happened while you were missing?" "I heard you were attacked by a bear or something." "Someone said you were the only witness to a murder out there, but none of the bodies were ever found." "Do you think you blocked it all out because of the trauma?" "Is it true the police questioned you about it too?" I shot Spencer a quick look at that one. "I heard you got some kind of injury and had to be in the hospital, but they never found what was wrong." Spencer was gritting his teeth, glaring at me. Is there any way we can, not talk about this?" "Come on, we just want to know." It was a really long time ago, and it wasn't really the most fun experience. I think we'd rather not talk about it. "Everyone, please take your seats." At the teacher's words, everyone reluctantly retreated, leaving Spencer and me alone. I was trying to look anywhere but at him. Instead, my gaze fell on Kara, who was looking rather smug. I guess I didn't have to wonder who was spreading things around about us. If someone was intentionally trying to hype up the story, it was no wonder people were interested. I don't know what she hopes to gain from that. Trying to stir things up was literally the most pointless endeavor. I sighed. How petty. Fortunately, there wasn't much chance for more interrogation before lunch and by the time class released. Everyone seemed to be more interested in getting to the cafeteria before the lines got too long. Or maybe the average student's attention span wasn't long enough to remember that Spencer and I had an interesting backstory. Regardless, the class emptied quickly, leaving me to find my way to the cafeteria alone. It didn't take me too long. The students crowding into the door was a dead giveaway. Allie was nowhere in sight, unfortunately, so I just grabbed a more or less decent-looking sandwich and found an empty spot to eat alone. I was so thrilled to be doing that on my first day. I had barely touched my lunch when someone dropped a leather satchel on the table in front of me. I looked up and right into the blue eyes of the blonde guy from literature, the cranky one from the front of the class. The look on his face was not encouraging. It was sort of the look of a person gets when they step on something really gross, like chewed up gum. And of course, it was directed at me. Already glad I'm not sitting by him in class. This is where I sit. For lunch? This is where I sit for lunch. So can you go somewhere else? Nope. I was definitely not going to let him talk to me like that. What a charmer. How about no? I was here first. He leaned down and placed both hands on the table, glaring at me. I swallowed nervously, my bravado evaporating instantly. Okay, scary. I don't care. I said you can leave. Hey, Mark. Hey, Bishi. I was relieved when a familiar face showed up, slinging an arm across the blonde's shoulders as he grinned down at me. Hey, Danny. I didn't get a chance to say hi in literature. It's okay. You were surrounded, and Allie was either going to introduce me to the teacher or pull my arm out of its socket if I didn't comply. Haha, glad you choose to comply then. Yeah, autonomy wasn't quite worth losing an arm. Mark shrugged away from Danny's arm and brushed off his sleeve, glaring at us both in turn. So you two know each other. Do you think you can kindly ask her to leave my table? Danny gave Mark a pained look, but the blonde boy didn't budge. Come on, Mark, she's new. You can at least give it a week before you start drawing lines everywhere and declaring where your territory is. I prefer eating alone. You know that. Danny sighed. Right. Yeah, I do remember that. He gave me an apologetic smile. I was getting used to seeing that sort of smile from him. At least this time didn't involve me getting hit in the head. In any case, I wasn't going to see if he wanted to come eat with me and Elliot and everyone else. Mark can be sort of antisocial. But he's not a bad guy. He doesn't mean any harm. Of course he didn't. He was just rudely kicking me out of his spot and trying to intimidate me. I stood. I didn't really get why I should have to put up with people being rude for me for no reason. I stood. I didn't really get why I should have to put up with being... I stood. I didn't really get why I should have to put up with people being rude to me for no reason. I hadn't done anything to anyone since I got back, and I wasn't really up for a pity invite to the popular table. Thanks anyway. I think I lost my appetite. Fortunately, I hadn't unloaded anything from my backpack, so I just snatched up and started away from the table. I wanted to ignore Danny's frown, but there was something inherently puppy dog about it that warranted some kind of response. Thanks for the offer, really. I'm just not up for it right now. I left the cafeteria without another word, and no one came after me. Not that I really expected otherwise. I decided I'd just go somewhere quiet and read for the rest of the lunch. And by read, I meant sulk. The day was definitely not going how I had planned. The rest of my day was uneventful. I only had to talk about my incidents in, well, every single class. And it was the same barrage of questions every time. Did I really lose my memory? What did I really see in the woods? Why did Spencer get questioned by the police? Did he really get attacked by an animal, or was it me? Was he actually involved? Did I see a murder? Was I abducted by aliens? I still couldn't believe someone actually asked me the last one. I made a mental note to stay far, far away from that kid. I couldn't avoid talking about it every time. Some students were relentless. Eventually, I just settled into the same rote answers every time it came up. Yes, I really lost my memory. No, I don't know what I saw, but I was pretty sure it wasn't a murder. The police were trying to cover all their bases, but Spencer had nothing to do with it. He really was attacked by something, but it wasn't me. And as far as I was aware, no, aliens were not involved. Why everyone was so interested in something that happened 5 years ago was beyond me. Most people opted to leave me alone when they realized they weren't going to get any juicy details out of me. So otherwise, there was no major problems. At any rate, no one else decided to be blatantly rude to me. What I really wanted to do was grab Allie and take her and talk to her about what happened at lunch, but I didn't get a chance. As much as she was glad to have me back, we didn't have any afternoon classes together. It was a little lonely, to be honest, especially since the day was such a mixed bag. I knew I'd settle in. I knew the rumors would die out no matter how much Kara or anyone else tried to stir them up. There was just nothing to really talk about anyway. I knew first days were usually kind of rough, but I'd been hoping for better. My head was pounding by the time I made my way to my locker and dumped the last of my newly assigned textbooks in it. I stood quietly for a moment, head leaning against the side, as I geared myself up for the tense ride home. "Hey, Bishi." I turned hesitantly at the sound of my name, but sighed in relief when it was only Elliot. A familiar and, most importantly, friendly face. I gave him a tired smile. "Hi." "Whoa, you okay? You look, kinda pale. Are you feeling sick?" "I'm fine." "You sure? You're looking kind of anemic." "I'm not anemic, just tired. It was a long day." "Yeah, I heard. A lot of kids were talking about you and your brother all day." "Yeah, tell me about it." I slammed my locker door and hefted my book bag to my shoulder. "I also saw what happened at lunch." "Yeah, about that." "It's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm not mad at anyone over that." "Are you sure?" "Yeah, like I said. It wasn't a big deal." "No, okay, just don't take it personally, okay? Everyone here has their stories. Know what I mean?" "I suppose I should know better than anyone." "And don't worry about people talking about you. They'll stop soon. Probably." Encouraging. Well, I couldn't complain. He was trying to cheer me up, and that was sweet. "Yeah." I rubbed my head and gave him another exhausted smile. I should go. The evil twin is probably already waiting impatiently for me. "Okay. I have a club meeting I need to get to. I really hope you feel better." "Aw. Yeah, definitely the first." "Oh no. Can I go back?" "Aw, I can't. I tried. I picked the wrong one." Okay. We'll have fun at your club then." "Maybe I should try to enter a club too." "It's not really the sort of club you have fun at usually, but I'll try." He waved and darted off down the hall toward the stairwell. What sort of club isn't meant for fun? I wondered if the office had a list of clubs I could register for. Of course, I'd have to coordinate with Spencer or get a ride from someone, so I might want to wait until I was a little more settled in. But it might be nice to get involved in something during my last year. At any rate, I made my way outside, keeping an eye out for Spencer as I went. I wasn't looking forward to the drive home at all, but this time, I'd just stay quiet. I don't think I can handle another argument today. I jogged across the front lawn toward the parking lot in spite of my head. If anything, Spencer complaining that I'd made him wait would just make my headache worse anyway. I immediately spotted the car. It looked like Spencer was already waiting. I picked up the pace. When I got home, I was just going to go upstairs and immediately crash. And sleep. Wait, what is he doing? I was still at least 20 yards from him. So why was Spencer already backing out of the parking space? Does he not see me? I waved one arm as I ran, wondering if he thought I was going to ride with Allie or something. Froze mid-wave as he pulled out of the space, looked right at me, and drove off. Are you kidding me? I very nearly threw my backpack on the ground and had a tantrum right there in full view of everyone. Yanking my phone out, I sent him a flurry of texts. What are you doing? You looked right at me. Hello? Are you coming back to get me? Stop ignoring me. 10 minutes later, there was still no answer. I tried calling twice, but he didn't pick up. Tears of frustration stung at my eyes as I clutched my backpack, so hard the strap cut into my hand. He wasn't coming back. He just left me there while looking right at me. The parking lot was rapidly emptying, but I was not going to stand there and cry in front of everyone. Trembling with fury, I stormed away to find a place to calm down, think, and plot how I was going to murder my brother in his sleep. After I figured out how I was going to get home first. I could text Mom, but she and Dad were both at work. Grandma and Grandpa would be busy too. I flopped down under a tree near the back corner of the parking lot. Allie said she had a club meeting, so I didn't think she could give me a ride unless I waited for her to finish. I didn't know anyone else well enough to ask. I bit my lower lip hard and looked up quickly, trying to blink away the tears before they spilled over. But there was no one nearby, and unless someone walked right past me, I didn't think I'd be easily seen. I finally gave in and buried my face in my knees, sobbing quietly. Today had sucked a lot. It had been stupid of me to be glad I was back. Are you crying? Crap. I looked up, hastily wiping at my face. Where had he come from? I'm fine. I stared up at the dark-haired boy in front of me. There was no way he'd believe I was crying. You sure? From his tone, I figured he knew that wasn't true despite my nodding vigorously. Whatever. He turned away and walked to a motorcycle parked nearby. I watched him set the helmet on the seat and stow his backpack. I probably shouldn't stare, but he was kind of rude, so I was going to stare all I wanted. He paused and glanced my way again. I watched him grab something and stalk back over. He tossed something square and rectangle to me. Tissues. Thanks. Okay, maybe there's a nice guy in there after all. He shrugged. Is there a reason you're sitting back here crying? Yeah, tell him the truth. He's being nice. Yes, there is. I glared up at him, daring him to try to pry further. He just looked sort of amused, but not all intimidated. I guess I couldn't blame him. How tall was he anyway? I was going to strain my neck looking up at him. Thanks for the tissue. I mean, not for badgering me about crying. I wasn't badgering. I was asking. But it's not a problem. I'm Ewan, by the way. That was an interesting name. Ewan. Oh, that's how you say it, okay. I was like, Ewan or Ewan? Bishi. He just nodded and crouched next to me. I don't recognize you. I'm new, sort of. I used to live here a few years ago, but I just moved back. Ah, you're that girl. I gave him a questioning look, but he just shrugged. I overheard some kids talking about some new girl. Something about some disappearances a few years back. Again. That's me. I see, well, you look more normal than I expected. What's that supposed to mean? Hey, I was just about to leave. Are you waiting for a ride? Do you need a lift or something? Oh, I don't. My brother ditched me, so I don't know yet. I'm still trying to figure out how to get home. I'll give you a ride if you don't mind riding a motorcycle. I never have before. I'm not going to force you. I bit my lip. I couldn't accept a ride from someone I didn't know, but at the same time, I didn't know if anyone else could come get me. Heck yeah, accept his offer. Do it. Yeah, you know what? I'll take you up on that. I live out in Raven's Glade. He almost smiled, but not quite. I live there too. He stood and helped pull me to my feet. Dang, he was really tall. The top of my head barely reached his chin. I have an extra helmet you can use. Oh, thanks. My mom would definitely kill me if I showed up on the back of a motorcycle with no helmet. Then she'd probably kill you too. She hates making people feel left out. That elicited a smirk. I'll keep it in mind. I watched him pull down 2 pegs on either side of the bike. I'm guessing my feet go there? He smirked at me as he tossed the helmet. You get an A+. That bit gets really hot, so don't touch it. Anything else? Hold on, lean when I lean, and try not to fall off. Simple and to the point. I like it. He climbed on the bike and patted the seat behind him as he put the helmet on. I climbed on carefully, mostly occupied with how I should hold on to him. That and wondering why his helmet got a cool visor thing, and my face was barred for all the bugs in the world to splat on. Hey, now's not the time to be picky. He's giving you a ride. You should be a little bit more thankful. I hope he didn't mind being my bug shield because I was definitely going to hide my face behind him. Hold on.
We're going.
Right. I placed my hands awkwardly on his hips as he started the bike, and we were off. It was cold. It was already well into fall anyway, but it was so much colder on the back of a motorcycle. Fortunately, our neighborhood was fairly close to the school. I quickly found myself grateful he was so much bigger than me. In addition to shielding me from bugs, he also blocked some of the wind. Not much, but I suspected it was colder sitting up front than behind. I just held on to him tightly and hoped the freezing wind didn't permanently freeze my hands to his waist. That would have been awkward. 15 minutes and a short stop for specific directions later, and Ewan was pulling into my driveway. Spencer's car was there, but so was Dad's. By the time Ewan killed the engine, Dad was already on the front porch, eyes wide. I dismounted carefully, only narrowly avoiding falling on my butt. Nice dismount. I'd give it an 8.5 for style. I'm not going to tell you to shut up, but only because you were nice enough to give me a Whew. Dad swept me into a bear hug that muffled the rest of that.
Thank God you weren't answering your phone.
Well, I couldn't really. Oh, this is Ewan, a classmate. He gave me a ride. Dad offered his hand, though he didn't look too happy about the motorcycle. Ewan took his helmet off, shook Dad's hand, and gave me a surprisingly polite nod. He had that bad boy look about him, but I guess he wasn't actually that bad. It was kind of disappointing. Someone wearing that much leather really should have more attitude.
It's nice to meet you, sir. Thank you for giving her a ride.
I handed the helmet back to Ewan. Seriously, I really appreciate it. I'll treat you to coffee or something sometime.
Don't worry about it.
I guess I'll see you at school?
He nodded and put his helmet back on, waving once as he started the bike.
And with that, he was gone. Dad and I watched him in silence for a moment.
You are so not treating him for coffee. Ever.
Hey, he was nice enough to give me a ride. Speaking of which, please tell me my horrible brother is grounded.
For a month at least. Come on, you look like you're freezing. I'll make you some hot chocolate.
I snuggled into his side as we went in together. All in all, it wasn't a completely horrible ending to the day. Chapter 3. Paranormal Mysteries Club. Wow, there's a Chapter 3? Oh my gosh. As you all suspect, I do these readings all in one go, so my voice is kaput at this moment. I am really, really loving this game, like so much. And of course, we are going to get into it, into Chapter 3. Next time. I thought this was going to be the end, but it's not. So next time, we'll get into Chapter 3. Thank you guys so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thank you so much for Steamberry Studio for leaving such a nice comment to me. And I'll see you next time. Bishi out. Bye!